Welcome back, everyone. Mike McConville here one more time for Guitar Repair at StringTech. We have a couple of J-45s. Now this one is a custom-made J-45. The one in the background there is that 1970 J-45 Deluxe that we removed the back and carved out the top braces, and the list goes on. So this one's coming along step by step, but I want to show you this one that the customer dropped off last Friday. Now, Paul drove up from Michigan, and I'm not really taking instruments from the US right now as far as shipping and packaging. It's just this whole tariff nonsense. Just not interested. But Paul decided to drive up, so when he told me it was a 2.5-hour drive, I thought, man, I got people in Ontario that drive 4 hours one way to drop off their guitars. So I thought, well, if you want to drive up and drop it off and come back and pick it up, I'm happy to do it for you. So here's the label inside the guitar. Paul had this custom made, and it really is a beautiful guitar. The guy has scalloped the braces. He's done everything right. Now, Paul has been following my videos and listening to the guitars after I calibrate them, and that essentially is the reason he brought the guitar up. So we're going to do a bone cantilevered compensated saddle and a compensated nut. Now the action, as you can see, is quite a bit high. The actual lay of the neck is really good. The fret job is really well done. The builder actually used EVO fret wire, which is a great move. Here, this area right here, we're going to need to level, recrown, and polish, and that'll allow us to bring the strings down for a nice, smooth, easy action. And of course, with the compensated nut, compensated saddle, well, you'll see, it'll be perfectly in tune. So before we go any further, I want to just mention, I'm sure you're wondering, why did he reslot the bridge? Well, there's two reasons for that. And I did not relocate the saddle, I just widened the saddle slot because we didn't have enough room on that low E to bring the string back enough for it to intonate. That was one reason. The second reason is in the original bridge slot, this side of the slot had dropped off a little bit, so I could not get that first string to sound. So the second reason I slotted the bridge, to use that aluminum plate that I have on the bridge slotting jig and get this slot laser straight. Now we have all 6 strings and you'll hear them singing perfectly, same volume, no issue. These are the 3 steps I went through on the saddle to get everything to line up perfectly. These are 12 to 53 strings at concert pitch. Paul will very rarely even reach for the tuners on this guitar. So with the original nut, that's what we had. The low E was fine, the A was 7 cents sharp, the D was 6 cents sharp, and then the high E and B were good. And when we were done, of course, we had all 6 were perfectly in tune, and that you will hear as well. So this is the typical neck to body junction where we've got these high spots here that need to be leveled, recrowned, and polished. When you have a pickup underneath the saddle, it needs to be a perfect press fit. I had one of my subscribers had asked this question. I thought this would be a great way to sort of answer it. When you cantilever past the end of the slot, the front edge of the D and G strings in this case want to tip the saddle forward a little bit. This is why you need to ensure an absolutely perfect press fit. And I have to admit, I did take a couple of runs at this. Is the second saddle I made. I wanted to point that out just before we carry on with the rest of the job. So now we're left with taking care of this proverbial neck to body junction. And once we take care of that, for the final calibration of the bridge saddle and the compensated nut, and you will see, and more importantly hear for yourself, just how perfect the tuning is on this guitar. Let's get started. Well, I have to say that the fret job itself is beautifully done, and with my 10-inch straight edge here, this is dead straight. Now there is a truss rod, and it is adjustable, but I do not have to touch this portion of the neck. It's only here where that's rocking and rolling, this area right in here. So we're going to get to that right away. Now I know people will use black magic marker to kind of mark up the frets, but I don't really see the point in it, because as soon as I go over there with the leveling file, well, the high frets just light right up. And we do have to take off quite a bit to get this to level out. You can see I haven't even touched those top 3 frets yet. So, and as always, you move obliquely across the crown and across hatching. So really it's just those last 3 frets. So I'm going to continue on here. Just starting to raise the second last fret there. And I'm okay even if it ends up being just the top fret that falls off a bit. Okay, let's check that again. Yeah, no rock in here. So this is the 6-inch straight edge. And you know, that kind of pretty well takes care of it. We have that little bit of space at the first fret. Now let's take it a little further and see if we can get it 100%. And that'll do it. I can see very slight grays of tooling marks on that last fret. So we have got that. Yeah, we're good now. A little bit of rock in here. So I'm going to bring that back a little bit further. Still got a little bit of rock in here. That's it. So you can see we backed right up to the 9th fret. It took a pretty good hit too. Now we're going to just very lightly graze right up to that last fret. Okay, next I'm going to just get those tips, because we are going to do a little bit of an edge dress here, but I wanted to get those tips because I could feel those a little bit when I ran my fingers along the edge. There's no teeth on the edge, just on the face. Oh man, I can feel that. Feel that grabbing. Got my crowning file to kind of take care of the frets that got the biggest hit, to take that squareness out. Now these are EVO frets, so they're quite a bit harder than your regular nickel silver frets, which is a good thing. From what I understand, I don't think they're even available anymore. The reason they have that yellow tint is there's an element of titanium in the frets, and they really do wear about 7-to-1 over the regular nickel silver frets. And I know a lot of people are using stainless steel, and I get that, but I find that these EVO frets had just that little bit of malleability. The stainless steel is a little bit springier than I like. I've got all my sandpaper stacked on the scrub block. We're starting with 320 to get rid of the tooling marks of the file. Now we got 400. definitely want cloth back paper. Your paperback sandpaper just gets shredded on these frets, on those fret ends. I didn't touch these frets up here, so I'm not going near those with the 400. Okay, now that I'm up to 600, I'll go full length. And you can hear, even in the camera, I'm sure, you can hear the difference in sound with the lighter grit paper. Second run of 600. Here's our second piece of 600. Now I am kind of going over those edges as well with the 600, just to kind of soften them. Oh, that's much better. And here's our 800 grit. You see, even the cloth paper is getting shredded. Our second piece of 800 grit. I'm going to bring you in for a close-up in a second. That little bit of edginess that I feel there, we'll finish that off with the buffing wheel and the jeweler's rouge, and we should be good to go after that. Well, this is really exciting. We're on the home stretch. This is a very lively guitar, so I have my foam mutes in there. There's our D. There is our compensated cantilevered bone saddle. This is 12 to 53 strings at concert pitch. And this is our compensated nut.